Hey guys, Daniel Norris with Daniel Norris Effects here. Right, and today I'm going to be showing you how to deal with RAW. Now what is RAW? It's essentially taking a file straight out of the camera without anything being left behind or compressed. Essentially it's like taking a slab of beef straight from the cow's arse. Anyway, let's get to it. I have a bunch of photos here. I have the three RAW files of a cat that was in my back garden, and I have 3 JPEGs that were accompanying it for comparison. And these are 3 that I've finished a while back. But anyway, let's get to it. I'm going to choose number 2, and I'm going to double click it, and what you'll find is with your camera you'll probably get a bit of software called Camera Raw, and whatever the name of your camera is next to it, and that will help you process these RAW files and then export them as something like a JPEG, PNG, whatever you want. So, pardon me, right, so here is our photo with a lovely little black cat with slightly cross-eyed, a slightly cross-eyed look on his face. Anyway, so what can we do to improve this photo? Well, I don't know about you, right? I think we can draw a little bit more detail in this fur, because I'm noticing a few patches where it just looks black and boring. And I think we can also draw a little bit more colour out of this, and I think we can get a bit more detail out of these shadows here. So, let's start. First off, you want to go to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th tab here for lens correction, and keep in mind, what I'm saying now is not industry standard. I'm just saying this is how I do things. This is by no means professional level stuff I'm doing now. All I'm doing is what I do to make photos look better, right? So you want to enable lens profile correction, and with any luck it'll find your lens automatically. Because that's the good thing about RAW, it even retains the information about what lens you use to do it. Anyway, if it doesn't find your lens, just click that and then go into Make, and you have a big list of lens brands here, and select the one that is of your lens. It'll probably find it again. If not, just keep finding stuff. Anyway, once you've done that, and oh yeah, the reason I do that is if you look at it, see, all lenses add a bit of a warp. You know, even if they're not fisheye lenses, they will warp your image slightly. So that just does that. I don't know, I just prefer doing it. Sometimes it makes the image slightly brighter, you know, with less vignetting, I don't know. But anyway, back to the photo. So, first off, we want to get a feel for how much difference we want to do to it. So what I tend to do is I click auto first. Now, before you say anything, I do not just click auto and then leave it. You know, I click auto just to get a feel for what we can change with the image. So if we do that, whoa, and that's why I don't click auto. See, it's tried to bring all the details back in here and here and here, and it's overexposed most of the other stuff. So we'll go back to default. So now we have a baseline now. So first of all, I'm going to lower the contrast, just to bring back some more detail in the shadows of his fur. And we don't want to go too far. I think about there will do. And increase exposure just a little. So there. Now we've got a bit more. We got a bit more information to work with now with this fur. Yeah, he needs a bit of a bath, I think. Anyway, so now let's play around with the highlights. Now what the highlights is just going to do is it's essentially the brightness control for the brighter areas, and the shadows essentially brightness control for the darker areas, to put it simply. So first off, I want to just bring down the white areas, just so that they're not overexposed and I can get as much detail out of them as possible. And then with the shadows, I'm going to bring those up, just once again, so I can bring as much detail out of them as possible. Because if I go down, you can see we make him look black, and then up, he looks brown. So we're going to go somewhere in the middle, so about there. That looks okay. And now with the whites, you can see that's what it does. You can overexpose the whites for a stylized look, phantom cat. Or we can just bring it down a bit, just so it's not so, you know, much of a pop. I am going to go about -8 for this one, just so, you know, once again, because at the moment, first off, all I'm trying to do is just get as much information out of this as possible. So That's good for the whites, right? Let's try the blacks now. So, because the best, it's always best, right? Before grading, it's always best to try and get, you know, a nice flat image so that every bit of information is retained. So I'm gonna go to there. Yeah, +8. Cool. Right now, with my camera, I have the sharpness set way down to as low as it can go, so that because I don't trust my camera to, you know, have the sharpness and whatever. So I am going to increase the clarity just to give us a bit more detail in everything in this fur. So I think, so you see, if I go back down to there, you can see it's a bit softer. So if I bring it up, just yeah, I think yeah, about 23 looks okay. And of course, because we're making this current photo for grading, I'm not gonna play around with the vibrance or anything, because you can desaturate it or whatever. But I reckon just leave it about there. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave that the way it is. And saturation, yeah, pretty much the same for this one. So anyway, so we've saved a lot of information from our image. Now let's just go back to what it originally looked like. Oh yeah, you can see everything is too dark. So if we go back, see, now we can see all the details in his head. See, yeah, you can see his ear almost blends in with the background there because of all the shadows. Where if we go back to ours, see, he's nice and separated from it. So it looks lovely. And now for adding a bit more, I don't really think this counts as grading, but yeah, you can have a play around with stuff like this, you know, like, you know, sharpening and radius of sharpening or whatever. I tend not to bother with this stuff really. You know, I tend to just stick to the hue because it is a basic thing. Because if you're doing professional stuff, you're not going to be using this really. You're going to use this like to this point, and then you're going to go into Photoshop and then do everything there. All I'm doing now is, right, all I've shown you is how to do that, ready for exporting for grading. Now I'm going to reset it, and I'm going to show you how to make this, you know, straight from here to a JPEG, ready to give to someone. You know, make it look as nice as possible. So go back to default. So first off, increase exposure slightly, decrease the contrast a little bit for now, and let's see, we want pretty much doing what we did before, only this time we are going to bring the colour, the vibrance and the colour up a little. So now we've got a nice bit of colour in it. And now we can increase the contrast a bit now. And play around a bit. And once again, I just want to remind you, this is not the professional way of doing it. I'm just doing what I think is good for making the photo look as nice as possible. See, and as you can see, it's just a case of going one way and the other to see what the difference looks like. Saturation a bit. Bring up the highlights a bit so I can bring it down. See, oh yeah, and you also want to keep an eye on this as well, because if you notice then, when I went down a bit and it started to go a bit too far to the left. You want to try and get it as centered as possible. So, but at the same time, you know, you don't want to go overboard, because you can see right now, if I put the shadows right up, you get a bit of noise and graininess in where the shadows were. So I'm going to try and find a midpoint. It's essentially just look at your image, you know. Because like, if you look at the whiskers here, honestly, if I increase the whites too much, you can see now you can't see where his whiskers attached to him. If we go down, There we are, you can see where they're attaching to. So you want to try and retain as much of that as possible. We're looking okay with it, but I think we can get a bit more colour out of this, to be honest. Oh yeah, and you use tint as well to give it a nice stylised look. I'm not though. So vibrant. That looks okay. Got a bit more green out of his eyes now. He's getting a bit green under his... Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, you can see there. You see he's getting a bit green under his chin. Sorry about that. I think we can dial that back just a touch. And, see, so... Yeah, once again, it is just a case of having to play around with the settings, really, but... Yeah, I think that looks good, right? So, let's see where we started. There you go, there's where we started. And essentially all we've done is we've retained the colour of the grass, but we've also, you know, we've also rescued the details in his fur. And that's essentially all it's about, really. You know, I mean, you can do other things, you know, like you can do curves here, which is not doing anything, but never mind. But yeah, you know, here we are. Yeah, we can increase individual colour values here. We can lower the reds, not doing anything. Lower the now it is. So we can change the colours in his fur. Oh, that's nice. You can make a nice. You increase the browns in the grass, so you can do that. I quite like that for this time of year. That's quite nice. Oh, look at that. I like that. Or you can do the other. Oh, no, that's too much. The thing is, though, this was shot in summer, so I want to try and keep a bit of the green. So, go there. What does that do? Oh, it increases the blue thing over there. Not very much point changing that. This. Same thing. Got any purples? Nope. And magentas. Nope, that doesn't do it. So yeah. Okay, I really like that. So say default. Meh, don't like that. Hey, that's lovely. So yeah, that's all that there is to it. Change the lens profile, and then play around with the settings and try and keep as much of the details as possible. And here's one I made earlier. Here's the same photo, and this is after my corrections earlier. I'll show you the JPEG that accompanied it, just as a comparison. So, there's the original, that's the JPEG, and that's the enhanced version. See, we got more colour out of the grass, got more detail in here, and I haven't bothered rescuing the shadows behind him because I wanted to keep a nice definition between him and the background. But yeah. Oh yeah, and you can also tell that it's sunny as well, because look at this one. Ugh, it looks all bland and horrible. And here, sunny! And we can see Mr. Cat. And you can see his nice and sharp, perfect detail. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it, or that's all that I do for it anyway. And yeah, you can pretty much do this with everything. You know, I think I've done it with plants as well. Let's find a good one. Yeah, these two I like. So here's another two I've done it with. So that's the JPEG that accompanied the RAW straight out of the camera, and after processing it, there we are. You see we've darkened the background a bit to help separate these guys from the background. As you see, it just blends in a bit, and all the colours and the shadows and shadings here, we've sort of increased them slightly to create a bit more details on the petals. So, yep, that's pretty much all there is to it for what I do anyway. And that's, once again, I wouldn't recommend this for professional, but for people who just want to take really nice photos and you know, want to just take RAW just in case they screw something up, this is a good way of helping restore the photo and making it look nice, ready for giving to people or putting on Facebook or whatever. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I shall see you in the next video. Ta-ra!